the next generation of artists will indeed embrace what we've already given them. Dig down into the treasure chest and make us proud. Thank you for indulging me. Let's take over. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Johnny Washington and all the staff here that helped out today and all the wonderful things and events that took place here today. Yours truly, Marion Meadows. We'll see you sometime in the summer at one of the festivals. We're always here in Detroit. I love you, Detroit. I want them to stop coming here. Thank you so much. We love you.
Give it up. Should we bring it back to the ribs and soul? That's what it's on, y'all. Downtown at Art Plaza, August 6th, 7th, and 8th. Michigan's fastest growing festival. Thanks to you guys once again, another production that I produced. Last summer, we went over 200,000 people in 3 days. And again, thank you for coming out and being a part of the inaugural Dr. Charles H. Wright Vision Awards. To our honorees, to our people who came out to support us, to our family and friends, thank you. It has been my pleasure.
This is Kenya Vincent from Muzak TV, and I'm here with tenor and soprano saxophonist Marion Meadows. Thank you for joining us on Muzak TV. Now, I have a specific question for you. I did a little bit of research on you, and I learned that you were, for your first recording contract, you were discovered in Grand Central Station. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Tell me what that was like.
I used to play with an African group.
What took you to Grand Central Station, and how did all that happen?
I lived in Connecticut, and at the time I grew up
You were raised in Connecticut?
I was raised out in Stamford, Connecticut, right outside New York City, and everything that we did musically was in New York City, most of us. So I was in a band from Brooklyn called the Aboriginal Music Society. It was an African jazz band.
Okay, great.
Very rooty kind of band, and we had just played Lincoln Center.
Okay.
And I was on such a high, you know, having played Lincoln Center for the first time, and at that time they had the late train from Grand Central, New York, out to Connecticut. And that late train was the reason that I got to do what I did, because I was just, you know, sitting there in the train station with my buddy, and he says, take your horn out, playing this, you know, it's in the big rotunda. And there was hardly anyone there. There was like, normally it's thousands of people walking through the rotunda, there was nobody.
Okay.
So I took my sax out, it was the most unbelievable sound. A gentleman comes running up to me, and he says, man, he goes, man, that sound was unbelievable. I thought he was a security guy.
Right.
But he happened to be
Yeah,
put the horn away. He happened to be a security guard for, no, I'm just kidding. He was a producer.
Okay.
And he worked with Bob James.
Okay.
His name is Jay Chataway. Actually, Jay Chataway went on to write the music for Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay.
And they eventually, I mean, he says, I worked with Bob James. I go, oh, wow, Bob James. And obviously, he was a very big name. And eventually, a few weeks later, they called me into the studio. And that's, I was really more of an avant-garde jazz player at the time. And it's more how I came more into the contemporary jazz scene, kind of as life's paths go that way, you know.
I also read that your earliest recordings were never released.
That's right.
Where are they now?
The first recordings I did with Bob James were never released. We eventually released some of them on my later recordings on RCA.
Okay.
And but the earliest recordings I did with Bob James, that's a good question. I'm still trying to find some.
I need them.
All that stuff was on cassette. If you remember back in the day, that stuff was on cassette. But that's good. We're the searching for the missing tapes. You know.
We need those tapes back.
Yeah, we need those tapes back. But yeah, it was a great musical time, and certainly my little slice of the pie from my little history in the music business was certainly an entertaining one, to say the least.
Great. Now I can tell you, when I was a teenager, I fell in love with the sound of the saxophone. It sounds a lot like a lady.
Oh yeah.
So now, what was it about the saxophone that made you fall in love with it enough to pursue it professionally?
Well, in particular, the soprano sax. I was a clarinet player, and for that reason, the soprano sax cries like a woman. It's a very sensuous, very romantic, very sensuous instrument. It cries. You know, saxophones by nature, unbeknownst to most people, were originally concert orchestra instruments, but because of their slight imperfection, saxophones are slightly out of tune. So they don't always tune up well with the orchestra. So they became kind of the bastards of the orchestra, kind of ostracized out of the orchestra.
They're beautiful bastards.
Until jazz came along.
Okay.
And then jazz came along, and the saxophone being more like a human voice, it found its true home musically. So that's the love affair I have with the saxophone, like other saxophone players.
Right.
You have an opportunity to, even if you're not a singer, you can sing through it. You know, and you can cry through it.
Now, can you sing?
Yeah. Well, I'm not. No. Swing low.
No. Okay.
So but
now,
you know what? Here. But I'll sing some baritone tenor stuff.
Come on.
But no, I can't. This is the real American Idol.
Right.
But no, that's the saxophone. It's a glorious instrument, and it really found its home in jazz. And you know, that love affair is how I found soprano sax, because I'm just really in tune with that sound.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So now your latest CD is entitled Secrets.
Yes, it is.
What's the inspiration behind that CD?
Well, you know, there's a whole secret life to musicians that most people don't know about.
What secrets are you talking about?
Well, there's all kinds. We have all kinds of secrets. A lot of artists do. You know, and you let your imagination run wild. But part of that, the secrets is the process by which we make recordings. That was my inspiration for naming it Secrets, because there's people think that we have a set formula how we make records, recordings. We don't. We don't have a clue where a song is coming from. And that's the beauty of recording. Sometimes we even have
the beauty of art.
Yes, it is. It's just painting a picture. And oftentimes you will find, and you ask most artists, that even when they have the project of recording or putting out a record, they don't even really know where they're going to start, and certainly they don't know where they're going to end up really until it's over, and that's the beauty of it. So that's the secrets to that, you know, that even we don't even know.
Okay.
It's our mystery that we live with throughout our lives as artists.
So now, what are your touring plans for the rest of this year?
As much as possible. I like to eat.
That's the plan.
No. Well, yeah,
Plan.
I have a tour going on right now with two other great saxophone players, Paul Taylor and Michael Langton.
Okay.
It's called Gentlemen of the Night, and we'll be all over the country. We're going to end up, our last show will be, for this summer, will be at the Hollywood Playboy Jazz Festival. And then I have a lot of Marion Meadows. I will be back in Detroit this summer with the Marion Meadows Band sometime in July. So look out for that.
Do you know what venue yet?
I don't know, but I believe it's out. I believe it's out in the Warren area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
Yeah. So we'll always Detroit. You know.
Okay.
2-3 times a year.
Now, what is it that you said about Detroit that you would tell anyone about the city of Detroit?
#1 music town in America, in the world for that matter. I really feel that way. That's just not a line.
Well,
But as I travel the world, I realize the importance of music here in Detroit and what it has offered and continues. I mean, when I come here, you know what I always say about Detroit fans? You can't pull anything over on them.
No.
They like it real, and if it ain't that way, then you know they'll let you know. They'll let you know. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Marion.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Muzak TV. You can catch this interview and all of the Muzak TV network programming at www.liveonlinedetroit.com. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you for having me.
It was a beautiful concert.
Okay, be well.
Thank you.